It is with profound sadness that Mrs. LeBlanc and I learned of the passing of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, Queen of Canada. C'est avec une profonde tristesse que Madame LeBlanc et moi avons appris le décès de Sa Majesté la Reine Elizabeth II, Reine du Canada. Her Majesty reigned for an historic length of time, and for over 7 decades, she witnessed and was part of many world-changing events. As the longest reigning monarch in our history, the Queen dedicated her whole life in service to her realms and to the Commonwealth. The Queen's life was characterized by duty before self. She first signaled her commitment to her future role as sovereign when she made a radio broadcast in 1947 in Cape Town, South Africa, when she turned 21. In that broadcast, she said, "I declare before you all that my whole life, whether it be long or short, shall be devoted to your service and the service of our great imperial family to which we all belong." At that time, we all did not know that she would go on to be the longest reigning monarch in our history. Princess Elizabeth also noted in her broadcast that although she was 6,000 miles away from her country of birth, she was certainly not 6,000 miles away from home, and that the people of the countries that she and her parents were visiting had taken them to their hearts. She returned that sentiment and love for her peoples, and throughout her long reign, she extended her reach to millions of people around the globe. Her record as the most traveled world leader in human history is unlikely to be surpassed. She was queen of not just her realms and territories, but was head of the Commonwealth of Nations, an organization that grew under her leadership. She was also someone whose example of stability and dignity was recognized in nations where she was not head of state. Simply stated, she was universally respected and admired. As Queen of Canada, she made 22 tours to our country, more than any other realm. Throughout her life, she journeyed to every province and territory and made 5 trips to Nova Scotia. In November 1951, the then Princess Elizabeth first visited Nova Scotia as part of a pan-Canadian tour on behalf of her father, King George VI. And she was accompanied by His Royal Highness, the Duke of Edinburgh. During this visit, and all of her other subsequent trips, she was met with great enthusiasm and joy. The Queen would visit Nova Scotia again in 1959, 1976, and 1994. Her last trip to Nova Scotia was in June 2010 as part of the commemorations to mark the centenary of the Royal Canadian Navy, where she embarked on HMCS St. John's for the International Fleet Review that was assembled in Bedford Basin. My wife Patsy and I have our own happy recollections of meeting the Queen when in October 2017 we had a private audience with Her Majesty after I was installed as Lieutenant Governor. I remember that she greatly admired and appreciated the Nova Scotia gifts that we presented to her. We were both touched by the Queen's great warmth and kindness and her sage advice. Although there are many aspects of the Queen's long reign that I could highlight, I believe that her messages in April, May, and June of 2020 were particularly comforting and encouraging during a period of disruption in our lives due to the pandemic and the tragic mass shootings in Nova Scotia. The Queen offered us her heartfelt sympathy and hope that we would all come through this upheaval and sadness. Her messages were inspiring. Souvenons-nous de Sa Majesté la Reine Elizabeth II, Reine du Canada, pour sa remarquable vie de service, de devoir et d'engagement. Au nom de tous les non-écossais, j'ai écrit à Sa Majesté le Roi pour lui transmettre, ainsi qu'à tous les membres de la famille royale, nos plus sincères condoléances. Let us remember Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, Queen of Canada, for her remarkable life of service, duty, and commitment. On behalf of all Nova Scotians, I have written to His Majesty the King to convey our deepest sympathy to him and all members of the royal family.